So if we cannot run asynchronous code within mutations, then where would we do it? The answer is within something called actions. So far, we have invoked mutations indirectly through the commit method on the store object. The mutation will then take care of updating the store state. The last part of this will still be true, but instead of invoking the commit method, we will dispatch an action from within components. So an action is kind of a method that sits between components and mutations. Actions then invoke the commit method that you have seen until now. I'll get back to all of this in more detail soon, but for now let's talk a bit about the purpose of actions. Why are they necessary if they just kind of act as a proxy to mutations? Contrary to mutations, actions are where you would be adding any asynchronous code. Apart from that, they enable you to keep mutations focused on one thing and one thing only, mutating a store state. This means that you should extract business logic, if any, from mutations and place that in actions. You could then have code deciding which mutation to use depending on some conditions, and since actions have access to the store, they can make use of getters and the state if needed. This separates the concerns by having mutations responsible for changing data and the business logic placed within actions. The code within actions doesn't really need to be business logic as such, but could just be HTTP calls. In that case, only when the asynchronous HTTP call completes, the commit method would be invoked and the mutation invoked. By ensuring that no asynchronous code is ever run within mutations but instead within actions, the developer tools can now track mutations as normal. Like I mentioned in the previous lecture, that is done by capturing a before and after snapshot when running a mutation. The state is therefore tracked through mutations and not actions. Alright, so I hope that somehow made sense. I realize that everything is easier to understand when seeing an example, so instead of me rambling on, let's begin to write some code.